We ready, Madam Clerk? Very good. We'll go ahead and call this regular meeting of the East Peoria City Council to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Here.
Hill?
Here.
Mingus?
Here.
Sutherland?
Here.
Mayor Call?
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and every day you give us. We are thankful for the employees that have to work in adverse conditions to keep our hills clear and our roads safe. Heavenly Father, we ask that you watch over these employees and all the public servants watching over us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the minutes, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on January 7, 2020, and the minutes of the special meeting for a working session held on January 7, 2020, be approved as printed.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have nothing under communications this evening. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on an agenda item, please step forward. Seeing, you didn't need to speak if you wanted. I mean, did you want to speak? Okay, please, yeah, step on up.
Mayor, Councilman, I just want to reiterate that we are a local, multi-generational food service distribution company that has flown under the radar for more than 40 years until the recent zoning board hearing regarding our petition to diversify into the cannabis crafting and infusion business while modifying our existing location. Let me make sure that's understood. From day one of our cannabis pursuit, we've been making sure the community support and have received only positive reaction from neighbors and community and members even after the heightened media coverage. As a locally owned business for a long time with roots in the community, we want to continue to provide jobs and apply for our hiring philosophy of second chances. We regularly hire people who have been on parole or have records and encourage them to better themselves with consistent employment as a starting point. Our hiring philosophy fits with the social equity elements of the state's cannabis program and has given many employees a new path to their success. To our continued success and to continue providing jobs means adapting to the changing business climate and our competition from mega companies backed by giants like Warren Buffett require that we reconsider alternative ways to apply our experience and utilizing our facility. As with many other areas in the country, pivoting from a traditional family business to a cannabis business is a win-win for the business owner and employees and community. In closing, I would just like to say thank you for taking the time to meet with me either individually or via indirectly. And overall, for the state, give me the opportunity to present this program. This is not a pro-cannabis vote, but a vote for pro-local business and community vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just for the record, Madam Clerk, that's Mr. Roy Soares.
Sorry.
I think you mentioned that. That's okay.
Sorry.
We knew who you were.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Anyone else in the audience wish to address the council on an agenda item? Seeing no one, very good. Move on to the consent agenda. Commissioner Hill.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt a consent agenda consisting of items numbered 1 through 3. Item number 1, adoption of resolution number 1920-104, resolution to approve payment of the scheduled bills listed on schedule number 17 in the amount of $1,823,215.74. Item number 2, adoption of resolution 1920-097 on a second reading, resolution approving renewal of cybersecurity insurance coverage. Item number 3, adoption of ordinance number 4477 on second reading, an ordinance authorizing the grant and acceptance of easements for project development in Main-on-Main development development area, as listed on the agenda for this meeting to be considered by omnibus vote.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that items number 1 through 3 listed on the consent agenda be hereby approved and adopted, and items number 2 and 3 having been read once by their title and having been laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Take your pick.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Mingus.
Forget any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have 6 items tonight. So, start with the resolution authorizing a public hearing for the exchange of the city property located at Eastport Marina and the amendment to unit ownership of the Eastport Restaurant Administration Building condominium. So I'm going to be reading this at length. Whereas the main administrative and restaurant building at the Eastport Marina Building is partitioned into Eastport Restaurant Administration Building condominium that is comprised of 2 condominium units owned respectively by the City of East Peoria and Cullinan Real Estate Holdings LLC, Cullinan. And whereas the city owns the real estate immediately surrounding the Eastport Marina Building, which together with the 2 condominium units and real estate owned by the Eastport Restaurant Administration Building Condominium Association, the association comprised the actual Eastport Marina building site. And whereas, in order to better define the property ownership of the Eastport Marina building site to more accurately correspond property ownership to the parties, responsibilities thereto, the city and the association desire to exchange the portion of the association's property identified in Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated by reference the association exchange property, and the portion of the city's property also identified in Exhibit A attached hereto the city exchange property. And whereas the city and the Cullinan further desire to redefine the boundaries of the condominium units as set forth on the first amended plat, attached hereto as Exhibit B and incorporated by reference, together with the corresponding reallocation of each unit and owner's percent interest in the common elements of the condominium. And whereas prior to the approving the proposed property exchanges pursuant to Section 11-76-2-1 of the Illinois Municipal Code, 65 ILC S 5/11-76.2-1, the City Council is required to conduct a public hearing on the proposed property exchanges, the public hearing. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, Section 1, public hearing on the proposed property exchanges as described above is hereby scheduled for and shall be held on Tuesday, February 18th, 2020, commencing at 6 p.m. in the City Council Chambers Conference Room in the City Civic Complex adjacent to the City Hall, 401 West Washington Street, East Peoria, Illinois. Section 2, the city clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish the notice of the public hearing in substantially in the form set forth and attached Exhibit A in a newspaper of general circulation in the city not less than 15 days, nor more than 30 days prior to the hearing of February 18th, 2020. Passed by a 3/4 majority vote of the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, in a regular public session this 21st day of January, 2020. Mr. Mayor, I move that the resolution 1920-099 be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. What we have here is Cullinan has an interest in selling their interest on this property. And if you pull down the details of this plan, you'll see where there's some sidewalks crisscross over, or some of the property lines currently cross over some common areas like sidewalk or even the ramp to the marina. And this this realigning of the plat is to better improve whose ownership rights to that property before it's being sold by Cullinan. Did I miss anything, Ty?
No, you stated it correctly. This is the large Eastport building. This is going to be something that just sets forth the public hearing that has to occur, and of course, you stated that that's going to be on February 18th, so in a couple of council meetings.
Very good.
Any other discussion, comments from the council? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker? Hill?
Aye.
Mingus? Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move that ordinance number 4478 here to attach, an ordinance authorizing a conditional use for the property located at 504 Riverside Drive in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, to allow an adult use recreational cannabis dispensary operation. Be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Commissioner Mingus.
But this is, for the last roughly 4 years, New Med has had a license from the state and also had the special use to execute the medical marijuana dispensary out down on Riverside Drive. This one is the state had licensed them to sell adult use, or also known as recreational marijuana. And this is the conditional use that's required and needed for that dispensary to operate.
Very good. Any discussion, comments from the council? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker? Hill?
Aye.
Mingus? Sutherland?
No.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
I have 4 ayes and 1 no, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move that ordinance number 4479 here to attach, an ordinance authorizing a conditional use for property located at 3201 North Main Street in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, to allow adult use recreational cannabis infuser operation and adult use recreational cannabis craft grower operation be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
And Mr. Source spoke at the beginning of the meeting, and what this is again, a conditional use. One of the several different licenses allowed in the cannabis area is the infuser and craft grower. And the city has, when they formed the ordinance, and identified that we would have one license, and this is in order to submit the application to the state, the petitioner needs to have an approved use. The location at 3201 Main Street, again, is a business that's been in plain sight for over 40 years. And again, Mr. Source would hope to use part of that building and comply to all ordinances that were related to craft grower or cannabis. And some of the details there, if you want to look at all the details related to this ordinance, you can see all the details, but some of them are that you have to be 1,000 foot from certain restricted businesses. And in this particular case, the back side of the building at this location, well, actually, the front side is within 1,000 feet of a child care daycare, and so the operation would have to be, building would have to be separated, and the 1,000-foot requirement would have to be met in order for this location to be used.
Very good. Comments from the council?
I spoke with Mr. Source tonight. I was actually originally under the impression that he was wanting to, I guess, a variance or look at a variance. That's not the case, so I feel good with this. I'm going to support this tonight.
Very good. Other comments? Hearing none, I'll echo Commissioner Decker's thoughts, and I know I talked to Mr. Source this morning just so we have a clear understanding of what we're approving tonight, and I'm comfortable with it, so I'll be supporting it. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
No.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
I have 4 ayes and 1 no, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move the ordinance number 4480 here to attach an ordinance authorizing a First Amendment to the conditions imposed on the planned unit development special use granted with respect to 115 Arnold Road in the city of East Peoria be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus.
This location was 115 Arnold Road. Was previously the office of a local builder. And currently, the request by the petitioner for this location and the modification amendment to the conditions is that the petitioner wants to use the site for dog grooming. And so the amendment was necessary to allow that type of business in that location. It does have residences on either side of it. And the review by the staff and the recommendations that the petitioner is willing to make more parking out front if needed, but the existing wide driveway is going to be used, and it's not expected to be a high-volume business.
Very good. Go
This is, I'm pretty sure I know the answer. This entire business will be conducted inside of the building, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So, everything that was
That's correct.
presented to me, I believe so.
Yes.
There is another such business, or there have been a couple in our community right in the middle of a neighborhood and have had no problems that I know of or have been told about with the neighbors on either side. This particular location, I know people that live around it, so there was another possibility that came about before, and I like this much better, so I will be supporting it.
Yeah, I believe the neighbors are supportive as well. Any other comments from the council? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move the ordinance number 4481 here to attach an ordinance authorizing special use for property located at 727 South Main Street in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, to allow the operation of used vehicle and trailer dealership and repair shop on the property be accepted on the first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
What we've got here, we have a property, and if anybody's familiar with the area, 727 South is just almost across from the TSC location, and there's another auto dealership or car dealer across the street. But there's been many different business car dealers in this location. So what the details of this particular ordinance is that the location will be limited to about 30 vehicles and expected to conform with landscaping requirements and all other city ordinances.
Very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that Resolution 1920-103, hereto attached, a resolution to approve abating and eliminating various tax levies for water and sewer bond issues, tax increment financing bond issues, and development bond issues be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this Resolution 1920-103 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus.
Okay, I was going to have Jeff clarify my understanding. What we have here is that our bond issues are backed by tax property levy. And in the case where we do not need it, and that's the case with this existing year, that our we go through this formality that we have other alternate revenues, tax or the gaming and sales tax that covers the bonds or the interest on the bonds, so we do not need the property tax. Is that my understanding of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, you didn't need Jeff after all.
I was going to have him confirm.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that is all for me tonight.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Decker.
I have one item right now, Mayor. Resolution number 1920-100. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, the resolution number 1920-100, hereto attached, a resolution approving construction engineering services contract with Midwest Engineering Associates for Altorfer Lane improvements be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 1920-100 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Sutherland.
Thank you, Commissioner Sutherland. A couple things about this. Altorfer, we already have hotels on that property. We're going to be making improvements to that property and have another hotel that will be built there as well. This is for engineering services contract to some road work that's going to be done there. The interesting part about this is that Midwest Engineering was awarded the project. They are actually coming in quite a bit less than what the standard should be. The standard should be around 10%, and they're coming in at 7%, which is approximately $17,000 based on what the estimation would be. So saving us quite a bit of money. I do appreciate them doing that. Engineers are in high demand right now, so I'm pleasantly surprised that this was done. They are so much in demand that I was afraid that things like this might cost us more, so I was happy to see it. Rick, Ty, either of you like to say anything more about it?
I don't, Commissioner. Thank you.
Okay. All right, that's it, Mayor.
Any comments from the council? Hearing none, everyone's quiet tonight. So, yeah, the estimated, this will be $39,180 of the estimated $562,125 total construction cost for the remaining work. So, appreciate the work that they've done and look forward to these improvements. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That's all I have right now, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Commissioner Sutherland.
Yes, sir. I have one item. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that resolution number 1920-101, hereto attached, a resolution accepting second change of order for the city's sanitary sewer system upgrade project, phases A through C construction project, change order number 2, in the amount of $143,976 be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move that this resolution number 1920-101 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Take your pick. Who'd you pick?
Mingus.
All right.
You win, man. This is the second change order.
Here.
Oh, no, that's right. This is the second change order on this project. This project is, I'm sure somebody's going to jump up and correct me, is approximately $66 million. And nearly every penny of this change order has to do with unforeseen problems underground, where the old plans, the as-built were wrong, and our old employees that came back and was pointing where they think things were, they were wrong. So the cost here, they're not overruns. The changes were made to actually move electrical systems, actually move pipe, and in one case, we moved a building. We had to dig out a concrete foundation the size of basically 3 football fields because it didn't have a foundation under it when the engineers took it for granted that this concrete structure had an engineer, had a foundation under it. So mistakes were made and accidents happen, and that's why about 2 or 3 months ago I was very poignant to say that from now on, any major projects that I'm involved with that we do in the city of East Peoria, everything will be located by hydrovac or manually find it with shovels like they were doing down by Steak and Shake to do with our new intersection that we have down there. Now they were pre-locating everything to where there's no mistakes like this. So since I'm a penny pincher, this hurts for me to say, but this should be a good thing that we need to support. Because the cost of this stuff, nearly all of this price would have been in the bid originally if we would have known, because the electrical wire would have still had to been moved. The foundation would have still had to been dug up. I just don't like surprises. Thank you.
Other comments from the council? I'll just go on to point out, just to put everyone's mind at ease, we have meetings with Farnsworth and the contractors, as well as Mr. Bolton and the city staff on a weekly basis. These change orders were made aware to us a couple weeks ago. We sat down. It actually includes 14 items. And when we began this project, we knew that change orders aren't going to come to us individually. I mean, we'd be up here meeting all the time. So Commissioner Sutherland's correct in his statement, but I do want to point out, had these items been known from the beginning, the cost would have been higher than when it was bid. So everything he said is absolutely accurate. But I commend him and I commend our city staff. They've stayed on top of this project. So, I mean, they may be a surprise to us elected officials, but they're not really necessarily a surprise in general to some of these folks as they move through them. They're aware of them. Like I said, this particular change order includes 14 different items. So the amount this evening is $143,976. That being said, if no other comments, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That'll be it, sir.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Sutherland. Commissioner Mingus.
I have two items this evening, Your Honor. First item, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria that Resolution Number 1920-10-2, hereto attached, a resolution approving a 2-year contract with SiteMed for annual firefighter physicals for the fire department be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 1920-102 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and being laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. This is a contract for, as I said, 2 years with SiteMed, which is a different company than we've used in the past, for our annual firefighter physicals. I know that when Chief Knapp and the other chiefs were looking at it, they preferred this over at least the company I think that we've gone with. It'd be correct because they come on site. They make it a little easier for us to get them done where we don't have to send people, and then when they're not at work or they're not there, we have to pull them off duty or pull them out of service to then go to a site. This company will come to us. This is not to exceed $25,000 per year, and it's 2 years, and if we don't like it at the end of 2 years, we could find another company, but it's our hope that we will like them like many other fire departments do. I get that good, Chief?
You did. We're looking forward to the change. This is a company that's used to working with firefighters across the country, and we have a lot of faith in their efforts and success.
Thank you.
Comments from the council?
Mayor, since this is a physical, I'm going to be partaking in. I'm going to abstain on this.
Understood. Any other comments? I'll just point out that, I know this is something we've been looking into for a while. Just for note, if we opt not to continue, we need to make sure, because this is an automatic renewal, if we don't give notice within 60 days, and I don't know, sometime last year we had this discussion on the previous council of keeping track of these contracts, but I'm confident in everything that we've seen. I mean, they've got history behind them, so looking forward to the change, honestly. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Abstain.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
I have 4 ayes and 1 abstention, Your Honor.
Very good, thank you.
A second item tonight, Your Honor. Whereas effective as of December 16, 2019, a vacancy has existed in the rank of Deputy Chief in the East Peoria Police Department, and whereas the Chief of Police has recommended that Keith McAlay be promoted to the rank of Deputy Chief effective on February 1st, 2020. Now Therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that Keith McAlay is hereby appointed as Deputy Chief of the East Peoria Police Department effective February 1st, 2020, subject to compliance with all applicable procedures and requirements.
Very good. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. As I stated in the resolution, we have an opening for Deputy Chief, and Keith McAlay has been selected to fill that position.
And I'll just point out his current position is the admin sergeant in the police department. He's been on board, I think he's been in law enforcement for close to 30 years, 20-some years. And he's been on the city's department for about 18 years, a little over 18. So looking forward to having him become a deputy chief and working with him. Any other comments from the council? Chief, would you like to say anything?
No, I think Keith will do a fine job. We had the discussion with him, and I think he's up for the challenge.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. Any comments from the audience on a non-agenda item? Anyone wish to address the council on a non-agenda item, you may step forward. Seeing no one. Very good. Comments from the council. Commissioner Decker.
I have two things, Mayor. First of all, with being the commissioner over the street department, we have many challenges in the street department. We're always trying to figure out how to spend, or where and how to spend the money that we have, and we're always trying to figure out how to get more money. One thing that's very frustrating is when we are able to repair a road, spend a lot of money on that road, and then because of lack of planning or whatever, that the road needs to then be disturbed by contractors, and that is always frustrating. It's okay as long as it's put back to the way it should be. This is something that a couple years ago we started looking at. Should we adopt a resolution similar to what other communities have done? And recently I was having a discussion with one of the laborers, the business agent of the laborers, and he said, Dan, you already have that in your resolutions for your city. You just need to look at the language that you have and figure out how to enforce those. So I did. Rick helped me recently. I asked him to pull that for me. We do have language. It's a little bit outdated. I say that for this reason. Anybody wishing to give any input, let me know, because over the next couple of weeks I'd like to look at the language that we have in place, figure out how to enforce that, and talk with the members of the council and the mayor about things that I would like to see in the future, because we want to make sure that the money that the taxpayers do spend on the roads it lasts as long as it can, and if it does have to be disturbed, that it's put back to the way that it should be. And finally, the other thing, recently I received a phone call from a gentleman whose mother was in a nursing home and had been in nursing home for quite some time. She incapacitated to the point of she was still able to make decisions but not able to go back to her house. And because of this, her house sat empty for a while. Now, they weekly had somebody come to the house, and actually he stored some things there, so he was there quite often. But we have a service in our community, and I still support this service, but ended up sending them a letter stating that if you don't, paraphrasing, you need to exchange this over to somebody else who's going to live there and produce and have somebody live there, basically. And originally, when we did this for the community, the reason we did is because we don't want to have houses sit vacant for a long time without a plan to have them inhabited again. Because we all know that houses that sit empty they all fall into disrepair, and we don't want that for our community. So it's a very good intention that we have this. I still think it's a good thing, but I've heard that when my friend called me, I've heard some others have received similar letters and had similar problems. We have a good base, and I think we just need to make some improvements. So anybody out there that is watching this is frustrated about things like that, I do support the measure that we have in place. I support the company that we have hired, but I was talking with the mayor earlier tonight, I think that there's probably some conversations that we as a council need to have to try to make that better for our community and meet all the needs of our community. That's it, Mayor.
Very good. Commissioner Hill.
Yeah, I had nothing, but now I do. Respond a little bit to Commissioner Decker's concerns. So we've recently initiated that service, and the letter shouldn't be saying anything to the effect that you need to do something with the property, but what it is it's stating that as your property was identified as a vacant property, you must register that property with the city. And Ty Livingston can give any more details on that. So, and I've received a couple calls from people that said, hey, I got this notice that says my property is vacant, but yet it's not. And so there is a process that's been identified under planning and community development to allow any resident that has a concern that their property's not. There's a checklist that will go through to say, is this property really characteristic of a vacant property? So the initial letters that went out, there are some that may have fallen, that got identified that aren't truly. And I believe, just in a week or so ago, there were 2 instances that I'm aware of that had received the notifications, and those have been adjusted to not be listed as vacant properties. Ty, you have anything to add?
Well, thank you for that. So there is a process, and we've worked through a checklist with our inspections team to ensure that there's an objective review of the properties to confirm what you were indicating, that they're not a vacant property. I think that when we originally launched the program, it was intentionally to be very limited in the amount of exceptions that were provided, that the goal was, let's try to address these issues. As Commissioner Decker brings up, and I had shared a few thoughts with you, staff has kind of looked at that and said, are there ways that we could offer some relief in these cases where you've got a loved one that's been in the hospital for an extended period of time, or it's listed on the MLS, and so they're actively trying to sell the property. Those types of things we'll take a look at, and those that we can verify. And I think the key is any exception we put in place, so we want to make sure that it can't provide a lot of opportunities for exploitation and the loophole, so to speak, that people talk about. So I think it is a good program, and it's something that we look to continue to further, but obviously new coming out of the gates, it might be something we need to refine down the road.
Yeah. So I thank you, Commissioner Decker, and we are aware of some misstatements and have looking at improving that from where we're at today. Thank you. That's it.
Very good. Commissioner Sutherland.
Well, I had one thing to talk about, now I have 2. This was brought to my attention, and I'm going to say this, that it's not the city's business to give an exception to anything like this because it's none of our business to begin with. I think that everything to do with inspections, to do with property, should be complaint-driven. It shouldn't be somebody going around and driving through my neighborhood, peeking in my windows, checking to see if the snow's been moved or the lawn's been mowed. This is Big Brother, and I shouldn't have to give an exception to anybody for being a snowbird and being gone for 3 or 4 or 6 months or whatever they want to do, or somebody in the hospital. It's none of our business. It's complaint-driven. Should be no exceptions to that. We've been able to handle this city for 100 years without this rule. I hope it comes back up, because you know how I'm going to vote. My next item that I want to talk about, and that is that we have 3 mechanics now at the city of East Peoria. We had 1, and then it went to 2, now it's 3. To keep the 3rd guy busy, we've started repairing some fire department vehicles and some police department vehicles. And I just want to let the community know that the work that Advanced Automotive Center done, that's located on Washington Road up in Sunnyland, did a splendid job. And if you don't see police cars parked out there anymore, it's not because he didn't, it's because we're doing them in-house. And if we have problems with something we can't handle, we're going to send it right back up to him. That's it, I'm done.
Very good. Commissioner Mingus?
I have nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Wow, okay. The only thing I wanted to point out, I know the city posted this, in regards to the Ameren thing. It was right after our council meeting last time. Ameren notified us immediately when they sent the bills out that some residents may have received an insert in their bills announcing that, or indicating that East Peoria passed an ordinance to increase municipal utility tax rate. That was sent in error. We did not. They acknowledged that. They acknowledged their mistake, but unfortunately, they couldn't stop it. Everything had already been sent out. So I don't know if people pay attention to the website. I know we put it out on our social media sites, but just let residents know if you've got one of those, they're correcting that. That was a complete mistake on their part. So that being said, yes, sir, go ahead.
I made a mistake last council meeting, and I want to address it, and I don't know how I remembered it, but I did. I gave credit to the lights being replaced and fixed on Meadow Avenue to the state of Illinois. Now, they may have thrown a little bit of money our way, but, sir, what was the gentleman's name that took care of this for us, please, in our city?
It was Robert Cole.
Robert Cole. So I want to give Robert Cole the due that he did. He did a good job, and it is very good. Thank you. Sorry.
Oh,
Thanks.
no, you're good. Very good. With that being said, I'd seek a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn until Tuesday evening, February 4th, 2020, at 6 p.m.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? I didn't think so. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Very good, thank you. Till we meet again, we are adjourned.